you say after the last spectacle that he put on, we all remember what happened late last year. There was going to be this workout. Teams were going to be invited. Then it didn't work the way he wanted or the way it was supposed to or the way it was advertised. They moved it to a high school field. And then he stood there afterwards and he had, hey, I'm glad all you people are here. I want to play. How come people didn't come, et cetera? The NFL at that point was still saying, we're not really interested in you, but now post George Floyd, post, protests and looting and riots and burning and then peaceful protests, in the 2 weeks or 3 weeks after, this conversation comes back and there's Roger Goodell sitting in his home going, we're so sorry. Oh my God, we're so sorry. We were so white and we were so naive and we were so caught up in our own whiteness and our privilege that we didn't even hear the message. So 4 years later, we're sorry. And by the way, somebody want to sign this guy? Go ahead. Sign him.
Everybody's going to want to sign that guy.
That would be interesting.
Do you think so? Do you think everybody's going to want to sign him? I mean, can you imagine Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys?
No, he's the one. He's the one guy who hasn't said a single word during all this, who was very loud the first time around. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Why not? Why? But I mean, I'm with Billy Ray. Everybody should want to sign him now. Everybody should want to be on the right side, So why not? How about this one? I'll give you this one. You ready? Here's who should sign him. I came up with Minnesota, Billy Ray. But how about this? I got a new one for you. You ready? New Orleans.
Well, they have like 4 quarterbacks already, dude.
Who cares? Who cares? Who cares?
Now, why New Orleans? Because of Drew Brees?
Because Drew Brees had the audacity, how dare him, to say that he still supports standing for the national anthem. And as a result, he offended many people, probably because he was just naive, frankly, probably because he's not a great student of American history, obviously. And so Drew Brees offended and pissed off a whole bunch of people. But if the New Orleans Saints signed Colin Kaepernick, now it's Drew Brees, and I helped get this man back in the league. I told you I was going to do something big. This is what I did. What do you think of that?
But that's the whole point of why I'm saying he won't play, because he would be the 4th quarterback on their depth chart behind Jameis Winston, Taysom Hill, who everybody thinks apparently is Dan Marino, and now Colin Kaepernick. So he wouldn't even get a chance to take a real legit snap. Like, now, if you told me Jacksonville was going to sign him, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. But if you told me somebody with a up-in-the-air quarterback situation, like the Raiders were going to sign him, where he had a legit –
Bears.
Come on, man, what you doing? Why you got to do that?
Sorry, dude. It's just easy. It's just easy.
But before it gets too far down the line, you mentioned Dan Marino. And, it just –
Do you hate him?
It conjured some memories of what was it that it was the opening game in '87, and I think I put Dan on his ass 4 times, and it was one of the great games because it was Marino and me, and we've been hanging out, for a couple of years when we were in college, so it was a really nice memory. Thank you very much.
Okay, so
you're welcome.
let's say that happens to Kaepernick. He's been sitting out all this time.
Really, made a big deal of.
Please let me.
and now Kaepernick gets a shot, and he just is just no good.
Sucks.
That's not.
Which is very well possible, by the way.
Which is a possibility.
Yeah. I don't think anybody's saying he's going to come in and light it up and be an MVP. I just think everybody just wants to give him a chance, Right.
But by the way, he might be good. He might be really good. I mean, listen, I don't know exactly how old he is, but let's just say he's 30, 31. We can look it up real quick. Kaepernick is a guy who I can point out other quarterbacks who in their careers didn't really start to take off until they were in their early 30s. They served as a backup. They barely ever saw the field. Everybody who says that this guy hasn't played in all these years, not only has he not played, he hasn't practiced. I mean, other than his own workouts.
He's going to be 33 in November. He's 30.
Okay, so good. I would give him today. I would give him today based on conditioning and based on what we see of other quarterbacks. The guy can play till he's 40.
We did just have 4 years off, so he's fresh.
Right.
Fresh legs.
Fresh legs. Yeah. Fresh legs or stiff, either one.
Linda,
Yeah.
you seem very skeptical that he could come back and still play.
Yeah, I am.
He was on the decline, right? Like his record was his record, dude. He was 1-10 with his last year, dude. What do you mean?
He's going to get a shot, guys. You know that.
Yes, he's going to get a shot. But to say that he was on a decline because of his record, the team, the 49ers as an organization at that time, was in turmoil.
Mm-hmm.
Part
because the quarterback was playing bad.
No. In like large part, like 99%. That's too much. 90% of the turmoil that was created during that time was self-inflicted at the time.
But that didn't stop. He didn't sign any of the players. He didn't make Jim Harbaugh become I can't really.
No, he tore
everyone else in the front office.
No, the team was torn apart. The team was torn apart. The locker room was torn apart. The organization was torn apart. Yeah, I mean, it happened.
Right, and so that contributed to the lack of play on the field. Was he MVP level? Of course not. Was he hurt and playing at a down point in his career? Absolutely. But that happens to everybody. Guys have up and down years. Tom Brady has had up and down years. Dan Marino, after Billy Ray kicked his ass, that was probably a down time in a year. It happens to guys.
Never played another game.
Took him out forever.
How about this? How about
you ruined him? You ruined him forever.
That's why you never won a Super Bowl, Billy Ray. It's your fault.
How about I'll throw this one at you? You ready? I came up with the Vikings. John Browner says no to the Vikings for Colin Kaepernick. He says because it's just the NFL using him. I've said the Saints, and you guys have said no because that's just, again, Breeze, the NFL trying to recover somebody's image there. I mentioned the Cowboys, America's team. I mean, you're America's team. This is America's story. The Cowboys, but Jerry Jones has been on his yacht in the Bay of San Diego. I'm trying to think of teams that could or would want to sign him. I saw the other day somebody had written a post about that the Rams should sign him because he'd be better than their backups. Let me throw one other idea at you. You talk about a team that needs something, a spark.
Yeah.
How about the Chargers?
I knew you were going to say that.
We knew you were coming up.
They just drafted their spark.
I know, but there's only 32 teams, so I'm going down the list. If you've got Tyrod Taylor and you've got this young kid Herbert, there is room for a third quarterback. And by the way, I would advertise it if I were Anthony Lynn, African-American coach who wants to give this guy his shot. Hey, come in and compete for the job.
You know, it makes
Why
sense
not?
Because of the African-American coach, I think, but Kaepernick wouldn't sign with the Chargers.
As a fact?
As a fact, he would not sign with the Chargers because if he's going to go back and play, and that's truly what he wants to do, he also is going to use it as a platform. And when you use something as a platform, you need an audience.
Right.
And the Chargers do not have an audience.
Mhm.